Woe to you, O earth and sea.
It's the Hop Nation
USA Podcast.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 129 of the Hop Nation USA podcast, and we are coming to you live from Pittsburgh's beautiful North Shore here at the new Mike's Beer Bar on Federal Street.
Yeah, you got it.
On Federal Street, yes.
Not State Street,
that is
Federal
correct.
Street.
So I just wanted to let everybody know that, yes, we are live and on location. So the audio might be a little bit different from what we have when we are usually in the Hop Nation Central. So deal with it. It's going to be a good episode. Put on your big pants. It'll be okay. So I am Adam. I am one of your hosts. With me, of course, is Steve on the knobs.
Oh.
He's excited to be here. That chuckle you heard was our favorite rotating co-host, Dennis.
What to do, bugaboos?
He is the man, the myth, the legend behind First Sip Brew Box.
That's it.
One of these days, we're going to ride your coattails.
Make more money.
Make more money.
Outside the box.
Ah. You got that tagline in early.
Slid it in, baby.
I'm 90% sure that's somebody else's tagline, and he's going to get sued.
Steve.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right, so I must say right here and now, we are not associated with that trademark or
Please
anything
don't.
like that.
Please don't sue.
We're a friendly bunch. We
Yes.
can talk it out. So, if we're at Mike's Beer Bar, of course we have to have Mike. So, Mike, please introduce yourself.
So hello everybody, I'm Mike. Great to be here.
And we are happy to have you here. And of course we have somebody else, our other expert, I should say.
Hi, I'm Cassie.
Cassie, welcome to the show. Happy to have you.
Long-time beer tender.
Yes, one of the OGs.
Yes. So we'll get to learn Cassie a little bit more. We're going to talk to Mike in the first segment.
Yes.
And then we'll talk a bit more to Cassie in the second segment. But we do have 3 beers.
Of course.
But because this is a bar, it's just what they have on tap.
Well, not to say just what they have on tap.
They didn't brew it.
A lot of taps.
That is true. This is the first time that we have been at a craft beer bar.
Yeah, they didn't brew it, so it's just what they have on tap.
Yes.
But what they do have on tap, though, is 80 taps of local beer.
Yes, it's an excellent tap list. We
Yeah.
took an opportunity to take a look through before we started the recording session, and I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah. So with that in mind, I'm going to let Cassie introduce the first beer because she knows the most about it.
Okay, so we are going to be starting out with 4 Points Marzen. It's nice and crisp, great Oktoberfest with nice caramel undertones, but again, very light and crisp, easy to drink, and good for everybody.
Ooh.
So I'm going to test your knowledge just a skosh.
When you thought it was done, it just begun.
Yes. Do we have any numbers available in terms of ABV or IBUs or anything like that?
That would be 5.8%. And IBUs don't matter because they are very deceiving.
Ooh,
Thank
she
you.
knew it.
Thank you.
It's also a Marzen, so
So it doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
it should not be hoppy.
It better not be hoppy.
I love it. But for the simple fact that she knew that IBUs are
Right.
not like a nationally recognized unit
Yeah.
of measurement.
Yes.
Instant credibility right there.
I like it. I like where this is going.
We're real cred. So looking at the beer, though, it is looking like an Oktoberfest.
Yeah, guess what?
It's got a real nice copper color to it.
Very Marzen-y.
Yeah. It's got a great copper color to it. It's got a nice, little tight head to it.
Nice and clear, even though it has a good color to it.
Yeah.
Right?
On the nose, it is definitely malty. I mean, we really don't have to go through the exercise of describing a Marzen, because guess what? It's a Marzen.
Yeah, we did just an entire episode not too long ago. Listen to that.
And if you're not familiar with Marzens, go back and listen to that episode after this one.
Yeah.
Get the footnotes.
Yes.
From a friend.
Tasting
Oh,
it, though,
wow.
it is really crisp.
Yeah. I'm digging it. Dennis, thoughts? You've been awful quiet.
Super. No, I've been saying stuff.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it came out in like real life or just in my head.
Might be a combination of the two.
But
You get that
yeah,
nice, like,
you do.
caramely. And, yeah.
So the caramel notes definitely show up, and with how clear and crisp it is, this is a good drinker.
Yes.
Like my go-to beers are traditional, like German styles, which Marzens live right in that realm. So I'm all about this.
And for all those people that like Yingling, straight go-to. Boom. There you go. Upgrade yourself.
She said, "Check yourself, fools."
I would put it above a Yingling. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
But it's a good segue, right? So I think it's a good gateway beer.
Exactly.
For all those Yingling drinkers
yes,
out there.
and that's the other thing is for a lot of people in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania in general, Yingling is the baseline,
right?
And for those of us, and those in the audience that aren't, are just getting into craft beer, that's a good way to kind of baseline people. Hey, this is what you can kind of think of it as a Yingling, but like way better.
Yes.
Yingling plus flavor.
Yes.
Plus flavor, plus it has a decent caramel finish to it, and it's not like it doesn't hang around, and it's not overly dry either. So
I'm digging it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
As a person who doesn't like lagers, I don't hate it. So,
Well, I'll take it.
It's a plus.
That actually means a lot coming from Steve.
Yes, that's like me not hating an IPA.
Right. When we get into the episode later, I'm sure there will be more beers that I'm into.
Oh, I already know I'm looking down the barrel.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
And then there's one where we get to flip the script, and Adam will be like, maybe.
Enjoy it while you can, Adam. Enjoy it while you can.
Yeah. But while we sip on this one, let's get to know Mike a little bit better.
Sure, thank you. Well, I spent the majority of my life actually as a corporate geek. Spent 33 years working with 2 companies in consumer products, and lived about 22 of those years overseas. So I've now had a beer in probably about 60 countries.
Wow,
as a
all right.
result of some of the work that I've done. And so as I came to the end of one career, I mean, what inspires you to start another? Well, when it comes to taking over a bar at my age, insanity is usually the first thing that comes to mind. And that was probably the majority of it. But I have a long line of beer in my family, so it goes back now 4 generations.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Great-grandfather, great-great-uncle both had bars here on Pittsburgh's north side
Awesome.
back 100 years ago. My grandfather then opened a beer distributorship, which then ended up in my father's hands. When I was growing up as a kid, I learned to drive a beer truck before driving a car. That was what I did. Still back in the 70s, Pittsburgh was a shot and beer town. Did a lot of deliveries before high school in the bars that were full because of the night shift.
Yep.
Went on to my father then ended up selling his distributorship, worked for Pittsburgh Brewing, Iron City, which is the local beer, for a number of years, and was exporting a lot of their beers, in fact, to Russia.
Okay.
Met my wife. She was one of the first sales reps for Sam Adams, Boston Beer Company, back in the 80s in the eastern part of the state in Philadelphia, was the sales manager there. So it felt like beer was kind of the place I had to go. And with that, I was looking at bars and saw that this became available. And it was, frankly, in my old zip code where I grew up. I had not lived in Pittsburgh for 30 years and was looking for an opportunity to come back. And was able to find a bar that focused on beer that still had some opportunities. It was being run by absentee owners. And thought this was and of course Cassie was a premium, of course, that in order to get the business,
Part of a turnkey business.
Yes, part of a turnkey business. And so 10 months ago, purchased the bar, and then in March rebranded it, and then we started about trying to enhance what was already a very successful craft beer focused bar for 5 years, and wanted to help take it to the next level.
I can say that anytime that I had a group of friends that were coming down to this area, that this bar was where we wanted to go, because they did have such a good selection. But what's nice now is the local selection in your bar now is much better.
Yeah, just to give the audience an idea of where we're at, we're on the corner that's right across from the stadium. We're on Federal Street.
Yes.
Like, it's been known as Beerhead, and I believe it was World of Beers at some point.
The beer market.
The beer market.
Yeah,
Beer
that's what
market.
it was.
World of Beers is that's a Ohio chain.
Chicago. I think there's one in Chicago too.
A World
Possibly.
of Beers?
Yeah.
Maybe, could be.
So
I know
for-
that's Midwest, though.
So for those that are not familiar with what stadium we're talking about, we're obviously talking about PNC Park, home of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, a lot of foot traffic goes through here.
Absolutely.
As you were saying, you
A
go
lot
through.
of thirsty foot traffic.
Yeah. Every time we come down for a baseball game, we almost always wind up in this bar.
Yes.
So yeah. now it's been turned over to a more local flair. So
Yeah, like Mike said, same zip code.
same zip code.
You know, can't get any more home than that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It actually sounds like, Mike, you were destined to own this bar.
It really, I think so. Insanity still played a little part of it, but it was. There couldn't have been any other type of bar, I think, and there are very few that really have a total focus on craft beer. We have very little liquor, just a few things and a few bottles of wine, and 99% of our business is beer.
Yeah.
And we're proud of that.
Yeah.
But
awesome. To be fair, you do also have ciders and meads from local cideries and meaderies.
And meaderies, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, I think it's more important that the focus is on local. And I remember like when it was the beer market, yeah, you could get like 500 beers or whatever from all around the world, but you couldn't necessarily get anything from somebody up the street.
Right. Literally, yes.
Yeah.
True.
Whereas like you have 4 Points on tap, you have Pizza Boy on tap, you have Abomination I've seen in the bottle list. I've seen pretty much everything. 11th Hour.
Right.
So yeah, it's nice to see a centralized area for so much local. So like tell us about how you brought about getting so much local on tap here and in bottles and cans.
Well, I think a big part of it was, as Pittsburghers, we're all very proud of our teams, of our city. And we do tend to get a lot of out-of-towners who come through here who are baseball tourists or coming for football games and the like. And frankly, the other part of it is, what we've been watching in Pittsburgh for the last couple of years is just an explosion of small breweries opening up. We did a count recently, and I think we saw that within 40 miles or so of downtown Pittsburgh, there are 60 breweries and opening
And growing.
Right, and growing at a clip. And we wanted to make sure that we could highlight, what they have, as part of our selection. It was one of the ways that we could continue to focus on craft beer, to continue to appeal to baseball crowds and give exposure, and just be kind of unique in the fact that, we're not unique that we're proud of our city, but really showcase.
Yes.
Being unique by showcasing, the great beers that are coming out of the breweries around.
Got those because he'd pull me out of work every Thursday. Hey, let's go to a brewery tour. So he'd take me to like 3 or 4 breweries and be like, we'd order flights of everything that they have on the menu. And then all of a sudden, he's like, remember how much you like that? I'm like, yeah, I guess, I think. And then going to all the beer festivals and stuff and talking to people. So that's how we were able to make a bunch of contacts and stuff and make sure that we get all the great local people in and stuff. So
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. I mean, we started and we say, let's just go to one place, right? Just buy one of everything and we'll split it. And then the next week it ended up 2. We did 3 once, and then we said, you know what, this is dangerous. We've got to have an Uber take us home, and
Just
that's
so you guys know, I'm available on Thursdays. So we can make this happen.
If you need a market research team.
It's the best part of the job. It really is. But we did find, given the number of beer festivals that are going on around, it was also a great place to try and engage, because many times if you're going to the tap room, you may or may not meet the brewer or the owner.
Right.
But many times they show up at the beer festivals.
Right.
And so we just, pound the pavement, if you will.
Yep.
Handing out business cards and asking anyone who had excess capacity or was looking to distribute that we'd love to be the one that they choose.
Right on. Yeah.
And I'm sure having a location such as this was a pretty easy sell, I guess you could say, to have their beer highlighted here in such a high traffic area.
It was, but not always.
Yeah, definitely. And then another thing that we've been doing is actually helping out-of-town brewers that are a little bit more out of the city, get introduced to local wholesalers and stuff. So to get into the market. So
we're drinking,
helping them out, and they're helping us out and stuff.
Yeah, we're drinking 4 Points right now, and that's a 2-tunnel trip. Yeah, I know.
Laurel Highlands, right?
Yeah, Laurel Highlands. I know. I think I saw Fury on your list, and I think I saw Bloom maybe on your list.
Awesome.
helping those guys out is really great because they make a lot of great beer.
Yeah.
They do.
But unfortunately, like you said, that's 2 tunnels and a turnpike.
Yeah.
Oh, God. That's a 45-minute drive.
Right.
Can't do all
I'm
that.
not going to that brewery unless my wife comes with me.
How spoiled are we?
So part of turning over this business into something new is you also have to attract in new customers who weren't, like, people may remember it as Beerhead. What events or anything have you been doing to kind of draw people in to let people know, hey, things are new here and you have to come see this?
Well, as I took the business, I really wanted to focus on 3 areas, if you wanted to call it strategic pillars, right? One was to become a real craft beer destination, and we thought that starting with our portfolio and having the right level of beers would really add credentials to the business, and of course we'd go about using social media to advertise. Second was to focus on the neighborhood around here, because it's not very residential, but there are many businesses and a lot of hotels. And so we went about opening a kitchen, because if you were here in the past, you remember that this was a place you could bring pizza, you could bring anything in.
Right.
But beyond a bag of potato chips, that was about all we could offer.
Yep.
And 2 weeks ago, I'm proud to say that we did open our kitchen.
Yes.
And then from a communication and letting people know, we are now on the sports side, we're working with the Fan. So we're on radio and advertising what we're all about on the Fan. We work with DK Pittsburgh Sports. They come and do a weekly show here as well to communicate what we're all about. And in many ways, that's going after probably the mainstream sports fan who's also a beer drinker.
Right.
Some of them who are craft beer drinkers, but others who want to get in.
Right.
And so, for example, with DK Sports, they have a show called Sports on Tap, where they're actually talking sports and talking about the Pittsburgh craft beers that they're trying to help drive interest and bring people down, whether it's during a sporting event or just to come down because they know we have 80 taps. There's always at least 50, if not more, from Pittsburgh. We had a month already in July where we had, through social media, all 80 for the entire month were devoted to Pittsburgh.
Damn.
That's
we
awesome.
We ran 225 different Pittsburgh beers in July.
That's beautiful.
Off the taps.
That
right?
is beautiful.
Yeah.
And and jokingly, we thought about doing that forever. And we kind of looked, and everybody does a great job on IPAs, and we thought, well, to have 80 taps and 60 doing IPAs might be a bit much.
Oh, that would be insane.
So we decided, well, we're certainly it's going to be craft from elsewhere, and there's a handful of imports that we bring in from time to time as well. And we push the envelope. So, in fact, we're now at about 70 from Pennsylvania. Okay. And by the end of next week, we'll turn all 80 over to Pennsylvania. Beautiful. And we'll communicate Pennsylvania as, a 1 month promotion. For all of
right
that.
on.
So, we're driving Facebook, we're driving Twitter, as best that we can in order to, appeal to the masses, to have them come down and recognize that in addition to going to all of the great breweries in Pittsburgh, there is a place they can come and have one sitting, try many of them without having to go.
It's pretty cool. I do see you guys on Twitter all the time with those cool beer facts and everything that you guys put out there. There's some stuff I never knew before. I was like, I'll save this.
Not to mention coming on Pittsburgh's number 3 craft beer podcast.
There you go.
We're very proud of that.
70 to 80 taps, like specifically from Pennsylvania. That's insane. That's so many.
Yeah.
Well, and I have to hand it to this woman over here to my right and your left, because she scripts out everything and knows, already what's coming on deck, what's coming in the next weeks.
That's super cool. How do you keep in touch with on the beer pulse of Pennsylvania to figure out what you want? Is it just trying everything? Are you monitoring?
No. She tries everything. I can tell you that.
I'm totally about that life.
Yes.
But is it also a lot of social media, seeing beer releases, knowing that kind of stuff?
So I do follow all of the what's coming up on what each brewery is releasing and stuff. And luckily, I have family on the other side of of the state, so I'm always traveling. So I see what's coming out of the Philly area, Central PA area, and stuff. And of course, every time I'm out there, I'm like, oh, well, I'll take a 20-minute drive out. I got to get away from you guys, kind of thing. Sorry if you're listening. And then go check out places, and then I find things I'm like, and then I get talking to them, I'm like, hey, you guys ever think about coming to Pittsburgh and this and that? And sometimes they're like, no. But either way, I'm like looking out and know what I'm looking for and stuff. So trying to find like anything that I can and grab it up from around the state, and especially like locally is cool, but there is a lot of like Central PA breweries and Philly breweries that we can't like leave out and stuff. So that's why I'm like, come on, Mike, you gotta like drop it a little bit. We gotta like include everybody here. But yeah, it's a lot of trying, and then like talking to people and meeting the right people and stuff, and just like trying to come up with the coolest list possible that we can, because I mean everybody can get, I mean, I love Dogfish Head, don't get me wrong, but everyone can get Dogfish Head.
Your little disclaimer.
You can kind of get that everywhere.
Yeah. The bigger guys and stuff, like they all produce like really great beers and stuff, but like I think we should give it up to Pennsylvania, because we're one of the greats, I think, coming out of the country and stuff. Like Pennsylvania beers, it's like California wines. So like, we owe it to ourselves to like give a pat on the back.
It is.
I did notice on your list you do have bottles and cans from Pennsylvania brewers around the area. Specifically, I think Abomination jumped out at me. Mm-hmm. I enjoy some of them. My question is though, can you take that out of here, or is that all on-premise drinking?
No, you can take anything out of here.
Okay.
So if you want to do at least 4 beers to go, it's 40% off. So that's pretty cool.
Okay.
And then we just got this fancy new Crowler Dixie machine. So it seems a can to go, 32 ounces, at also marked down 40% off. So you can take anything on draft to go as well.
Okay.
So, super, super awesome.
Yeah.
So if you need your hitchhiker fix along with something else, you get both.
I like it.
Get them both at Mike's.
So I did want to step back just a little bit, Mike. One of the big new things is the kitchen that just opened up a couple weeks ago. Is there anything in particular that you guys are focusing on? Are you guys going in a pizza direction, in a burger direction, a finger foods? What are you guys driving at?
The idea initially of the kitchen was to build it for speed, because we're a bar that gets a rush 90 minutes before a baseball game, 3 hours before a football game, or at lunch. And so, and we wanted to be able to provide something that was, call it, good and filling, but for us and our equity to continue to be a bar that had bar food and not turn into a restaurant that had beer, right?
Right.
And so what we have, in essence, is nothing fried.
Okay.
And we limit our menu today to about 5 items that are what would be called shareables. So your classic beer pretzels that come out hot with beer cheese. And we change the beer every day. To something unique or something different, just to experiment.
Oh, so is beer cheese made here on the premises?
Made here on the premises, right? And then, our chef, she's got 1,000 things that she loves to create, and we said we'll do them 3 or 4 at a time. And so we've been open 2 weeks. We change the menu probably every second or third day. We have 3 or 4 lunchtime items. And we thought we're going to take the approach to food in the same way we do to beer. We're going to rotate.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
We're going to
awesome.
just, we want it to be a bit of a treasure hunt for our guests who come in who have from a lunchtime perspective, knowing that we want to keep it limited but fresh. Mm-hmm. We turn the food differently, and then those people, when they come in 3 or 4 days later, know that they're not looking at the same stale menu.
Wow. I really like that approach.
Something different.
I dig that.
So it's kind of the food truck concept, if you will. We wanted to be kind of the food truck concept with food, but to be able to rotate that type of menu.
A rotating kitchen with rotating taps. That makes a lot of sense. Awesome.
Put that on a T-shirt.
I'm not in charge of their T-shirts. If they want me to make T-shirts for them, I'll do it. But we have our own T-shirts. So one last question. You mentioned some of the events that are going on here, with turning over certain taps and featuring all Pennsylvania and featuring the sports. Is there any other events people should know about, especially coming up?
Beyond what we're doing now with Pennsylvania, we will continue to go with July, if not maybe a little bit longer, because the Pittsburgh event of 80 was really well received. We have historically done here the 12 beers of Christmas. We've been talking about essentially turning 24 days into an advent calendar, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
So open the door and find your beer, your special beer of the day leading up to Christmas.
All right.
So we'll have a little bit of fun with that. Cass, anything else that you can think of for the spring or fall?
I'm super excited because in February we're going to do a pretty large, 15 tap takeover of sours.
Yes.
So be like a bitter Valentine kind of thing. And
bitter Valentine.
Yeah, instead of doing something sweet and chocolatey, you come down here and be sour and aggressive and drink your sour beers and hurt your face.
That sounds good.
Well, you've got Adam signed up.
I don't think I've ever heard Valentine's Day and aggressive put together like that before.
Yeah.
You don't know
You
any
don't
of
date the
my
right women.
You don't know this zip code, but
And I would like to do a Festivus party where we have a pool and we all air our grievances and have some pizza strike where there's a bunch of super crazy dark heavy beers on tap and stuff.
Right on.
All right.
Test your strengths
Sign
and
us up.
air some grievances. So
Sign
that's
holding.
things that I'm thinking about doing and stuff. But yeah, we'll see. We still got to talk about things. But yeah, I'm super pumped about doing heavy sours in the wintertime because it's something that usually don't get. It's always stout. So it'd be a cool place to come down and be find a bunch of weird sours.
I like it.
Of all varieties.
That's cool.
Well, keep following at Mike's Beer Bar. You can be able to keep up on all that. Mike, you already mentioned how the food menu, you want to be good and filling. I think that also pretty much describes that 4 Points Marzen that we had at the top of the
That was good. I was a fan. I think everybody else was too because everybody's glass is empty.
Yeah.
Super crushable, tasty, but didn't lack any flavor at all.
Yeah. I have yet to have a bad beer from 4 Points, and even though I don't like lagers, that's still not a bad beer.
Yeah, good
I'm
beer.
right with you on that too. I'm not a lager fan myself,
Yeah.
but I can get down with that. It was one of the better ones this year, I think, that came out,
Yeah.
especially for the locals and stuff. Them and the other one that I really enjoyed was, which we kicked super quick, was the Yellow Bridge, their Oktoberfest. So if you see that around, definitely drink it. It's awesome too.
That's another one. That's another one that's 2 tunnels.
Yeah, Yellow Bridge is another
So many
2 tunnel.
tunnels.
Head out to Delmont.
You're digging yourself to China at that point.
I know.
Take a shuttle, take a carriage.
So what do you say we take a quick break, refill the glasses, reset.
Come back, segment 2.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
We'll be right back. First Sip Brew Box is a one-of-a-kind subscription service for craft beer lovers based right here in Pittsburgh. Every month, First Sip will send you a box full of craft beer enthusiast essentials, including t-shirts, glassware, and even food. Right now, our friends at First Sip Brew Box have an offer for you. Just sign up for a 3-month subscription and get your 4th month free. Just enter the code HOPUSA when you sign up at firstsipbrewbox.com. That's HOPUSA at checkout to get your 4th month free at firstsipbrewbox.com. Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 100 and a bunch. We are here at Mike's Beer Bar down here on Federal Street.
You got it again.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, by the 3rd segment, I'm going to be confident in that. And I apologize. We'll get there. But no, we are here live and on location at Mike's Beer Bar here on Federal Street. We've got another beer lined up. And now all the glasses are completely full due to the magic of editing. They're full again. But Cassie, we'll let you introduce this beer, your completely full beer. Now,
Completely full.
what are we drinking?
So up next we have the 11th Hour Bright Noise. It's a New England IPA, 7.4%. It's super tropical up front, which I like, but then it still has some really nice hops throughout it without getting drowned out by all the tropical juiciness. So it's a good IPA for everybody who likes any kind of IPA.
Wow, I like that.
All right.
Okay.
I hate getting drowned out. That's terrible.
That's a real sell. An IPA for anybody who likes IPA.
Oh, wow.
So looking at it, it looks like juice.
It does.
It looks like pineapple juice.
It really does.
It's got a nice fluffy head, though.
It kind of looks that way as well, or looks that way, smells that way as well.
Smells like juice too.
This is a beer you can have for breakfast.
Well,
Probably.
you can have any beer for breakfast. I've been down that road before.
Don't be a baby. You can have any beer you want.
That's true. Shower beers are a thing.
You're a grown ass adult. You got bills. You can make those decisions.
Yeah, there's a lot of tropical flavor on the nose, and then when you drink it, a lot of tropical flavor there too.
And it has no IPA residue to it whatsoever.
No, it finishes like juice.
Yeah. You have
Yeah.
to love this, Adam.
So about that,
What? There's no IBUs.
Love
at
is
least
a-
that I'm picking up. Maybe on the Adam scale there is.
yeah, love is a strong word. I don't hate it.
Oh, well,
I
that's
don't
good.
hate it. I appreciate what they're going for here. It is better than the West Coast IPAs.
That's true.
I think it finishes more dry, not bitter.
Yes.
With it. So that's more approachable for people that are getting into IPAs and stuff. So
Right, that's
Yeah.
true. And what you have to understand about Adam, he's literally a 95-year-old man that collects baseballs in his yard because no one's allowed to go in it to get their baseballs. So
I feel stung.
I think the beer's great.
She fart noised you on your own show.
I know.
I did not see that coming.
She got you.
I have no response.
Mike has to deal with me every day. So.
For everyone out there, Steve does not use sound effects.
I do
was
sometimes, but
organic.
no, that wasn't all
legitimate.
natural. Yeah, but back to the beer. It's tropical up front, a little bit of bitterness in the middle, and then on the back end, it's
Very
just
slight.
it's pretty juicy. It's
Crushable.
It's drinkable for Dennis and Cassie and I, and Adam seems okay with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's right what you need.
I think if I chase it with a Werther's original,
Yeah.
For a Steelers game or a
yeah.
Pirates game.
Or work.
Yeah.
You crush a few before work.
Mike, what are your thoughts on the beer?
Well, I'm an everyday IPA drinker, and this is good enough IPA for an IPA drinker. So
Good.
I'm taking it from.
So 4 out of 5 doctors agree. But
yes.
Right on. Well, we're going to keep moving on, and this time we're going to learn a little bit more about Cassie. That she's obviously been kind of the engine for this place
Yes.
for the past 6 years, way before Mike even showed up
The
on the scene.
straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah. I don't know if they do that here.
I'm sure if you ask nicely.
It's not a cocktail bar. It's a craft beer bar.
Straws.
No, we like to save the turtles.
Aha.
So no straws.
No.
Oh.
But Spoonwood beers?
What?
But Spoonwood beers, because they save the turtles.
It's true.
They do turtle
Yes.
rescue
Uh-huh.
collaborations every year.
Gotta save the turtles. And no straws, and we cut up our 6-pack things. Yep.
Nice.
There you go. Yeah, you've been working here for a little bit, and what kind of brought you into the craft beer world?
Well, I actually went to school for archaeology at Duquesne, and I studied history, but I was with an archaeology team with PennDOT for a while. Then worked at the Heinz History Museum and different museums throughout the city, and Pittsburgh Historic Landmark Foundation, like giving walking tours throughout the city, and it's great. And I'm very, very passionate about that. But then I got involved somehow with a spa downtown, and I'm not really a spa girl. And then I heard this was open. I'm like, beer. Beer's my thing. Yeah. So I came down and I applied right away. And at that point, like, this was just like a big open space. So, and I got talking to the owners and everybody here. And I'm like, yeah, this is a vibe that I can totally dig. And I got into it. And then I just like kept rolling with it since then.
That's fantastic.
But I was always like that underager sneaking into the bar, like, order me a Chimay Red and stuff. And my friends were like, I don't even know what that is. I'm like, I want it. So, as bad as that sounds, but that's kind of how I got in. I've always been a big beer fan and a big beer snob. All my friends were like drinking Pennsylvania style that came in a flat for $6. It wasn't even like in a case or anything. They were carrying it out by like, we got this for tonight. And I'm like, I'd rather not drink than have that. So
That was like 30% of my childhood.
yeah.
I think we got to, because you mentioned that you have family in Philadelphia, right? Or
Family everywhere.
okay, but like you've been into the Philadelphia area,
Yes.
and when we
I
did,
watch. I'm a big Fish fan, and they always play at the Man Theater out there.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
right on.
Yeah. So,
But yeah, we've heard from Ryan, who works with Slyfox, and he was telling us about how big the craft beer community, and especially like Belgians, are out in the Philadelphia area. So
Pittsburgh's very different, though. Our Belgian scene used to be really big, I would say like 4 years ago, but over the past 4 or 5 years, it's definitely declined. Because when I first started here, we were like selling the crap load out of Belgian beers, and now it's like we're gonna take it down to 1 cooler instead of having like we used to have 4, and now we went to 3, and now we're down to 2, and then I'm gonna take it to 1 because Pennsylvania is where it's at. Like we're making it right. So even like our Belgian style beers are like trumping what they're doing and stuff. So
hyper local can't be beat.
Right, exactly. So since you've been here, you've been exposed to the craft beer evolution and revolution, I guess you could say, here in Pittsburgh. Is something that has changed your taste in beers during that time?
Yeah, so I used to also hate IPAs a lot when I first started, and I was always really into like lagers and sours and Belgian beers. But then one day I got like this super horrible cold, and I could not get it to go away for like 3 weeks. And then I tasted Green Flash Palette Record, the old version.
Okay.
And I'm like, and then I could breathe like instantly. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. And then ever since then, I developed that taste for hops. So it's crazy that like one little thing can just completely change your palate instantly overnight and stuff. And I taste that, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can breathe. This is amazing. I couldn't get enough. I'm like, more IBUs, more IBUs.
Usually people solve that with like hot sauce, but I guess
it works.
Well, next time you have a cold or something.
Dude, there was a recent study at a university in Japan where they actually use like hop oils and different like triple IPAs to remedy the common cold, and they found evidence that it's a thing. It actually does help.
It works. It like my cold was gone. I was completely clear within like 20 minutes of drinking just a sample of this beer. I'm like, wow, I love IPAs now.
The side effect was her tongue fell out of her mouth. That palate record's no joke.
It's so good though. That and the hop juju when it comes out, I'm always like, hey, money.
I just got a Crowler hop juju not too long ago at JR's Beer Warehouse.
You can get Crowlers there at Mike's
They
Beer
got
Bar.
hops.
You obviously know your beer. With this area right next to the stadium, you're going to get a lot of non-Pennsylvania residents, and you're also going to get a lot of non-craft beer drinkers. How do you lead somebody into what they should be drinking?
So my first question is usually, what do you normally drink? What do you like to drink? So even if they're not beer drinkers, it's like, okay, you like a vodka cranberry, I can find something. Sure, try out like a framboise or something. So you give me like any kind of flavor profile and any good bartender, in which our staff is all trained to do, as they go through like a pretty vigorous course before we start. And so we basically pick any flavor profile, and then we go through that to like find the matches of what they like. So, you're a bourbon drinker, then we're going to try this bourbon beer. Or, you like Miller Lite, then we're going to start you on a Pilsner, lager, or Kolsch, something like light and crisp and easy to drink. And then you just like whittle them to, well, what do you like or don't like about this sample that I gave you? Okay, well then we'll go from there. And then you can like, okay, we'll take away this, add this in, and then boom.
Wow.
And all of a sudden within 2 or 3 samples, you should be able to get on the first try. Most people usually do, but by like the third time, people are pretty like, all right, I got you. I can do this.
Has there been anybody who was like really super picky that you just couldn't solve it and you just like gave up and gave them a cider or something?
No, mostly it's the people that are like, we want Jaeger bombs and Busch Light. I'm like, well, we don't have that. I'm like, you're in the wrong bar, bro.
That tastes like unemployment.
And I'm like, well, how about this, or this? And they're like, nope, we only drink Busch Light and Jaeger bombs. So I'm like, well,
then you're in the wrong place.
That's not gonna happen.
Well, try this beer. It tastes like camo and jean shorts.
They're like, yeah, I don't want to taste anything. So.
On the other side of that coin, have you experienced somebody coming in here that has no idea what they want? They know literally nothing about craft beer, but through return visits and things like that, they've been able to turn into a bit of a beer aficionado as well?
Yeah, totally, all the time, and staff included. So sometimes we hire people that have no idea about beer. One of my best friends works here, and she's a celiac, so she can't even drink beer, and like is crushing it with beer sales. Usually, she's one of our best employees.
Nice.
With like being able to talk about things. So as long as you know how to direct people to where to go or what to like just like pick up on their basic flavor profiles that they're into, and then it's super easy to recommend anything to them. Like literally any flavor. Beer is so like widespread nowadays. It's not like you're drinking yellow fizzy things all the time.
Right.
Which there's nothing wrong with yellow fizzy beers. There's a time and place for them. But you know, you can literally mention any flavor nowadays, and there's a beer for you.
Especially with you guys having 80 taps, you always have something, unless someone's just being, I'm sorry, a douche. It's like Busch Light and Jaeger bombs. That's it.
Yes, that is a douche.
That's a douche.
But those what I see a lot are those that really are Miller Lite drinkers, Coors Light drinkers. They come in and the first thing they think of is that every beer is a bitter IPA.
Right.
And the minute you put them into a Kolsch or a Pilsner, it's like something's opened up for them, right?
The light bulb goes off.
Right. And they say, okay, I can drink this. And all of a sudden, they become transformed. And we've had guests, you know, that are regular guests who've started that way and have ultimately worked their way into IPAs and to other styles.
And the funniest part is sometimes on baseball games when we're super busy, people will order like a Miller Lite, and I'll just give them a Mama's Yellow Pills from Oscar Blues. Yeah. And they'll be like, this Miller Lite tastes really good today. I'm like, oh, that's really weird. I'm glad you're enjoying it.
That is like some military psyop stuff.
It works though. And then they're always like, this is amazing today. I'm like, glad you're enjoying that. That's
Mike's beer bar propaganda. I love it. I support it.
That's the old Pepsi challenge, but with the old yellow pills.
Dude, so that's super cool.
Yeah. So
I mean, that never happened. I always
she was just kidding. No, but a lot of that I blame on bad friends.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is a lot of people, when they're recommending certain beers for people, they're recommending their favorite beers, not what that person might like.
Right.
It's like walking in the Best Buy, you see 75 televisions. I'm going to go with that LG or that Sony that I've always bought for the last 10 years. It's the same thing when you walk in somewhere and you have 50 different options without making it a personalized journey for them. They're just going to hate it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you guys do it very well. Not the hating it part, but
making it a personal journey.
Finding out those unknown needs, like this is what I like, and them finding that next beer that sets them up on that journey, that gateway into craft beer. So
and that's a big thing too. Speaking of the journey and stuff, because I did grow up always drinking like Yuengling and stuff as like my go-to beer when I was younger. And then I discovered Flying Dog, Old Scratch, the beer the Vienna lager that they used to make. And then I was like, hey, this is like way better and stuff. And then like I started trying everything else from there. And I was like, so that was like my gateway thing, like Yuengling going in. Because, so that's how I kind of like transitioned through Vienna lagers. And then I discovered everything else from there. So, yeah.
That's cool.
It's definitely a journey.
And we all have that journey. Like Lion Kugel was like mine.
Yeah.
That Berry Weiss, I was like, this tastes like Fruity Pebbles. That was like cereal beer before cereal beer was cool.
Yeah.
Everybody had their gateway. For me, it was Railbender. Erie Brewing Company.
Scottish Ale from Erie Brewing.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite Scottish ales.
That's the jam right there.
Well, we're doing this, Steve.
Yeah, you got to get in on this.
I mean, we've done this a number of times before, but mine was Sam Adams Cherry Wheat.
That's
cherry
solid.
wheat.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
No, that's a good.
It was the first
porch drinker.
It was it was the first thing I had that didn't taste like Yuengling or just a Pilsner.
Yeah. Okay.
So I was like, oh, things can taste like other things.
That was the moment of enlightenment.
Yeah.
Beer can do things.
Yeah, it's not why I really drink anymore. Mostly I drink just bourbon barrel stouts and
Steve's just emptying
sugary nightmares. But
what about you, Mike? What was one of your first craft beers or first beers that like entered you into the craft beer journey?
It was also Sam Adams product, actually.
Yeah.
No, I didn't judge you, Steve. Don't look at me.
And to be honest, I mean, I was the kid who was envied by everyone in high school. My father owned a beer distributorship.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't like beer. And frankly, the only time I would ever have a beer was, he's got Heineken and, a case broke, and so I can get a bottle and I can, try that because it's better, right? And so I ended up drinking other things in high school and college until, afterwards. And then, Sam Adams became available, and I tried that, and then my light bulb went on, and I got very quickly into then home brewing and doing some other things, and then expanding my palate. So
so you got into home brewing.
I did.
Yeah, so
I didn't do it very well, but I got into it, right?
But you did it well enough to drink your own beer.
And that's why I started then buying it again. But otherwise,
do you have any, was there anything that you tried when you were a home brewer that anything really out there, or
to try to make?
Yeah.
No, I was pretty mainstream when I was doing it. Never patient enough.
Yep.
As it was happening.
Like every homebrewer.
And this was back in the mid 1980s, right? When I was doing it. What I found out for myself was I enjoyed the process of doing it. I didn't enjoy the process of waiting.
Okay.
And ultimately, I felt at that point it started to get me to expand into different styles at retail, because I started to then find that I could really enjoy other things that I didn't have to make, and I had immediate gratification because I could just go do it.
Right.
Now, I was about 2 years into it, and my professional career took me to Russia. Now, this was right after the Soviet Union collapsed, so I took my equipment over there, but frankly, there was nothing there to buy.
Right.
So essentially, I ended up with a closet full of equipment and nothing to do, and even the Russian beer at that time wasn't very good. So ultimately, then it just kind of left me at that point.
Yeah. What about you, Cassie? Do you have any experience homebrewing?
No, I'm a gardener.
Okay. Well, you can grow your own.
To put it that way, I grow my own hops.
See?
There you go. All right.
You can grow your own ingredients.
You've got us, B.
and other things. So,
Other things that will be
like
legal.
tomatoes and cucumbers are good.
Any peppers?
Peppers. So I got 14 different varieties of peppers. I
Any
got
ghost
you.
peppers?
Yeah, I got ghost peppers, scorpion peppers.
Nice.
Wait. So you grew these this year?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
I make my own
exchanging
tomato
phone
sauce,
numbers. I need some more peppers.
salsas, and
Hell yeah.
See, I'm seeing a Kelsey and Hop Nation USA beer collab. Like, use her peppers. Or
We've already done hot peppers. We're already in on that.
All right. Well, so you don't have any home brewing experience. Do you have any possible mixology experience or something creating things behind the bar? Like, I'm looking maybe secret menu items that you might not find. A couple bars, they have like black and tans, black and blues. You can get a snake bite with some Guinness and layered on top of a cider. Do you have anything like that here?
So,
any fun things that you've been trying like that way?
Yeah, we have a couple. They're not on our menu anymore because they were kind of like slow movers, but we did a Tutti Frutti, which actually tasted like Fruity Pebbles, like exactly. And that was full pint weight lightning, Lindemann's Framboise, and Fathead's Bumbleberry all mixed together. And then you got
fuck.
it was
All right.
like super bomb.
See,
And
listeners,
then-
this is why I'm asking.
Steve got so excited.
It sounds good as hell. I love all three of those.
We called it a black velvet, so I would use threadbare cider and then with a Guinness float. So that was pretty good. Another one of my favorites that we did was like the chocolate covered blueberry, chocolate raspberry. We did a chocolate orange, a chocolate banana. So Lancaster double chocolate with Wells banana bread. That was fire too.
Ooh.
Yeah, real good.
You guys are doing it up.
Yeah.
But see, that's all secret menu item stuff.
No,
Yeah.
this is like Harry Potter, man. I'm like in a Chamber of Secrets right now.
But I think out of like our mixed things that I like to do, one of my favorites is called the Bloody Monk, and it's St. Bernardus ABT 12. It's a Belgian quad, and then we do a little bit like a framboise splash in that, and so that works so well because Belgian quads are brewed with all that dark like fruits and cherries and dates and stuff. So the framboise like extracts all that flavor, and so it's like an explosion in your mouth. So that one's like super, super awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
Well, this became a speakeasy event.
Yeah.
Investigative journalism.
This is good.
Damn, that sounds really good.
I know. You got a birthday coming up.
Yeah, I got shit to do. I got shit to do tomorrow, but the birthday.
But after that,
yeah. Awesome.
I'll get the inside scoop when you guys leave.
All right. Well, let's bring it back to this 11th hour bright noise. I enjoyed it very much.
same thing as last time, where all the glasses are empty.
Yeah.
That says it all right there.
Yeah. A bunch of empty glasses.
And I didn't knock them over.
That's right.
Empty naturally.
Yes.
No karate chopping here.
Dennis, what do you think of the 11th
I thought
hour?
it was too crushable, right? Like that
Ooh.
beer was too dangerous.
Yeah, it was
Like, I feel like-
7.4%. So
That was 7.4.
Yeah.
That explains a lot.
Well, I'm
the
just
whole
saying.
Cassie, Kelsey, Chelsea dilemma. Right there. I now realize the error of my ways. No, but I feel like I can sit down and crush a whole growler, and it just tasted too much like juice.
yeah, yeah, it's so easy to drink.
Yeah, if you are trying to get somebody into the IPA realm, that's a good place to start, and then you can kind of start stepping them further and further into the dark side.
At least into the hazy realm.
Yes,
You
yes.
may never
Obviously,
you
the
may never
palate record.
Yeah, you may never cross them into the West Coast, but
Right.
Yeah, Mike, thought?
Oh, terrific. I took home a crowler the other night and
Crushed
went,
it.
yeah, very quick. Very quick. It went down easy. It was terrific.
Cassie, final thought?
Delicious. That's why I picked it.
Okay. Well, she did a good job as a beer
Yes.
tender. She picked a good beer.
Check it and check.
With that, we'll take a little break, come back segment 3, and we'll have a little fun.
This is Murderous Minors, Killer Kids, bringing you the frightening and truly insane tales of children with the thirst to kill. Kindergarten through 12th grade murderers. True stories thoroughly researched. Join us weekly for new tales of parents' worst nightmares on Murderous Minors, Killer Kids.
All right, welcome back, Hop Nation. That is segment 3. That means it is time for our third beer here at Mike's Beer Bar, down here on Federal Street with confidence.
Got it.
Nailed it.
And what's the beer tender's name, Dennis?
Cassie.
With confidence.
With confidence.
like it.
I
There you
wrote
go.
myself a little note card.
So the third beer, Cassie, what are we drinking with confidence?
North Country Lyfe. So this is a hats off to all those basic girls out there who like pumpkin spice lattes. It's a pumpkin spice latte stout. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
super yummy and delicious. You're getting a little bit of pumpkin, a lot of bit of coffee, a little bit of creaminess, and a lot of bit of bitterness. So it's like pretty well balanced for being called Lyfe.
I like all of those things, except for the Uggs, although I've heard those are actually really
They're
comfortable.
very comfortable and warm. So
So I can't really hate, yeah.
Did they make Uggs for dudes or?
they
Yeah.
sure do make Uggs for dudes.
Yeah, Tom
would've-
Brady
Yeah.
wears them all the
You
time.
knew that so quickly.
Yep.
These are things I don't know, and I don't know that Tom Brady wore them either.
Like size though, they probably make them like little dude
Oh,
size.
no.
They have
They got-
size 15 quadruple E.
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
We got Uggs for you. So drink up your pumpkin beer.
They just cost $500.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and Steve will like wrap some spruce around our feet before we wear
Yeah.
those.
That's why no one takes them off and they wear their sweatpants around because it's so comfortable.
I'm a newspaper and duct tape kind of guy for my boots.
Waterproof.
For you
and
guys,
absorbent.
for you guys, the Ugg boots would just be hollowed out polar bears.
Yeah, or canoes.
And that's how you survive Alaska.
Back to the beer.
Looking at the beer though, it looks like a stout.
It does.
No point in talking that much about it.
Tastes like
Right.
stout. Must
Yeah.
be stout.
Smelling it though, you actually get some of that pumpkin spice
Yeah,
latte.
got a
Like
little bit of
some,
that pop.
You mean a lot.
My nose is all screwed up. I've been sick.
That's true.
That's true.
I've been sick.
Sick Steve.
Bottom line, smells good, looks good.
Yeah.
Let's go 3 for 3.
Huh. How about that? There's a lot of coffee in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on with this beer.
Yeah,
and I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, no, it's definitely all good. It's just like there's a lot more coffee than I expected, but I like a lot of coffee, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
So
No, I'm digging on this one.
yeah, it tastes kind of reminds me of. So there's the Little Debbie cake.
Heard of them?
That there's the it's the little pumpkin smile.
Yeah.
Pumpkin delights.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it tastes like pumpkin delights in a cup of coffee.
Snacks.
Jeez. we need to turn this into a Jeopardy show.
Don't mess up your snacks around Cassie.
I told you I was a gardener.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it tastes like to me. It tastes like pumpkin delights and a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Wow.
That's
What
a
is
good
the
morning.
ABV on this guy?
A bunch.
No, please. No.
I'm gonna bet 8.
Yeah.
8,
Nope.
Nope.
Really?
Not. Nope.
7.3.
7.
Oh, okay.
Pretty good.
Okay. All right.
Tasting
Yeah.
the mistakes
There you
that
go.
I'm making.
That's a Tuesday lunch beer.
Breakfast beer.
That's pretty
Shower
legit.
beer.
That's right.
That's definitely a breakfast beer.
That's an eye
I've
opener.
had a shower stout before. If I was
Yeah.
a shower with
How
a
have you
stout,
not had a shower stout before?
Stout, it would be this ugly.
because if I'm having a stout, I want to be on my couch with my feet up. I never took one into the shower.
Oh, you
before.
should.
Well, yeah, you should
Yeah.
get with it.
Yeah.
Well,
Get with the times,
I mean, that
man.
never
more of
happens.
a degenerate.
Yeah. Your shower temperature should be exactly what you're serving your beer at. So have them both meet around 60 or 50.
That's so mean.
That's science. I loved everything about it.
So mean.
Yeah. Adam's on the jazz. That's very cold. It's a very cold shower.
Damn. All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to grab some of this and take a shower with it when I get home. I'd appreciate it, and so would my wife. So,
Yes, your wife would appreciate you taking a shower.
hey man, I live a very busy lifestyle. Right?
Well, with that busy lifestyle, we're also coming into the holiday season. I know you're very busy at First Sip Brew Box with
Super
the holidays.
busy.
Yes. But with the holidays, that means there's a lot of things that got to go into Halloween. And we're
That's it.
drinking a very appropriate beer for Halloween. But I wanted to visit a segment that we've done in the past. It's called the Pair Down.
Yes.
And that's where we don't necessarily pair beer with food, but we pair beer with activities and events and other things. And being that we're Halloween time, we're going to find out what Mike and Cassie would pair with Halloween events.
Can we join in too?
I guess.
Dennis and I?
If you and Dennis have answers, you feel free to throw them out.
Oh, we got answers. That doesn't mean they're going to be good ones.
We're always
right.
we're on the spot, people.
Yeah. Okay.
I have nothing right now, but when you ask me what I have, I'll have some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll come to you third, Dennis.
Thanks, Steve.
To give you 2 people to think about it and then on the spot.
You know me so well.
The first thing I wanted to do, though, is I know pumpkin carving, that's pretty popular.
Heard of it?
Everybody's got to get ready to decorate. So what beer would you prefer to enjoy while you're carving pumpkins?
So if I'm going to do a pumpkin beer right now, I really like the Pizza Boy Legendary because it's a pumpkin beer brewed with lactose, and I'm usually not a fan of lactose in beers whatsoever, but this one's actually pretty solid and stuff, so I like that a lot. But if not, I would probably go with New Holland Dragon's Milk and a shot of Bullet Bourbon.
Ooh.
So.
Ooh. Have you had the Dragon's Milk Maple?
Yes.
Oh.
Every variety. They're all my favorite. Every time they come out with a new one, I think out of all of the triple mash was my favorite that they did I think 2 or 3 years back. Mm-hmm. But yeah, any variety of Dragon's Milk is always bomb. So I'll take them anytime. Anytime. Yeah.
I'm just thinking the maple with a shot of Bullet would be.
Yeah, especially with the pumpkin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pumpkin you're carving will come out some way. Maybe
But
not complete, but
I'm actually allergic to raw pumpkin, so I can only doodle on them, and then someone else has to carve them for me.
You have to outsource it.
Yeah, yep. I'm like that with that and raw potato. It's the weirdest allergy ever, but I'll turn bright red and start being very itchy. It's a very strange thing. But I do love pumpkins. They're great, but when I come back from the pumpkin patch every time, I'm like, I can't feel anything.
I need a shot of steroids.
Yeah, pretty much.
Help.
But yeah, Lots of dark, strong stouts and bourbon.
Right on.
For sure.
Damn.
Mike, what are you drinking to decorate your pumpkins?
I can't touch what Cassie just said. I mean, I was going the other way. Say you talked about, or you didn't talk about, but thinking about Halloween and horror stories. So I thought, well, if I were watching a horror movie while I was carving my pumpkin, the one thing that I'm not big on them, but I like the movie The Purge.
Okay.
Okay.
And I thought, well, this is, in that theme, I go to the back of the cooler at the house and I take out all the beers and I purge all those things that have been kind of sitting there and I haven't been focusing on drinking. So
we've all got fridges like that.
That's a good answer.
That is a really good answer.
Yeah, that's definitely on the board.
That sounds like October 30th. Mike throws up a siren and it's time for the purge.
That's it, right? November is a clean month, right? And it's time to start loading up again.
That's why, you start getting ready for your Bad Elves and all your Christmas beers.
Yes.
Damn.
Time for the purge. I like Mike's new tradition. He might have just given us one.
Say, we need to make that event down here. We can help out with that.
That's a thing. We can do it.
All right, Dennis, number 3.
All right. So
Trust me, you've got your work cut out for you.
dude, I don't know how to come up with a way to beat this. So the wife, she's the artist of the bunch between the two of us. So traditionally, she would draw on all the pumpkins, and with my military experience, I would throw a knife into the pumpkin from about 10 feet away. Hopefully, it hits where it needs to hit. And then we'll start carving it out.
The pumpkin.
And the
It's a true story.
beer that no, it is a true story. People, so flashback to when I used to manage a Best Buy. I used to do the perimeter walk at night. I carried a knife in my hip. And I'd be like, "There's no terrorists around here." I'll throw a knife 20 feet away. It will smash into a refrigerator box. Damage things.
But given
we
your
sell them as open items. I don't work for them anymore.
But given your accuracy with names, do you think throwing a knife in the general direction of somebody that may or may not be right
Oh,
is
for
the
sure,
right
because
thing to do?
one's muscle memory, one's no memory.
Dennis, I just wanted to know what beer you wanted to drink.
I'm sorry, Steve. I wanted to give you a whole story, let you know a little bit about Dennis behind the scenes. I'm insane. But the beer I would love to drink is what we just talked about. It's the Abjuration Vanilla Milk Stout.
The
vanilla
milkshake cookie?
Yeah, oh yeah. It was
I
so
haven't had it
good,
yet.
so tasty.
I'll get to it. Get to it.
Agreed. So I'm going to go real short. Spoonwood's Cold Drip City.
Okay.
Nice, quick, easy.
Tasty.
It's tasty. I think that's a good beer for a cool day that you would be carving pumpkins on.
Crisp day.
Crisp day, yes.
That's a transition beer.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's when it's not quite stout weather, but you want something with a little bit of, I don't want to say heft to it because it's not a heavy beer,
Right. No, it's
but a good transition beer. So I'm going to
transition.
keep it nice and simple. Cold Drip City.
right on. The next event, haunted houses. Anybody enjoy those?
Nope.
I'm going on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I don't because black people die in every movie. So I'm not the biggest fan of haunted houses because it's kind of like, were you surprised that you died here?
You feel like you're tempting fate?
I'm tempting fate.
Okay, I understand. Well, with that in mind, say that you went through a haunted house and that you survived it. You obviously want a beer for the come down. So what would your come down beer be? Ooh.
Trocken, a dry mead.
Okay.
Because I feel like I conquered something, so I feel like I should be a Viking at the end and really feel good about myself.
That's
Yeah, that's a good ass answer.
That tracks.
Pretty good answers.
That tracks. That's why she's a good beer tender.
I know, right?
Mike, do you have an answer?
I don't.
Do you enjoy the haunted houses?
I'm still purging.
Okay.
Purge 2.
Right.
This time it's personal.
Part 2.
It's personal.
That more sounds like Mike's going into the haunted house with the killer hockey mask. Just beers in his hands. I gotta finish these. Dennis, thoughts?
I will definitely do a brown ale, a very malt-forward brown ale, because I get scared easily and my sugar's more than likely dropped. So I'm going to need that very malt-forward brown ale to spike me back up to get me home.
Okay. Just to bring you back to normal and settle everything.
To settle out.
So for me, I'm gonna drink that all-day IPA from 2016 that was in the back of Mike's fridge that he was handing out at the haunted house, so he could get it out of the way.
Whoever drank it quickly got purged.
Yeah. I would just probably take any stout that's above 10%.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you could use that for any answer for any time.
I know, but I'm using it again for this as well. If I'm trying to bring myself back to normal levels is ripped up on stouts.
There you go.
So,
I feel like Steve showed up ripped up on Soutso to a haunted house.
Yeah, I've showed up to haunted houses on a lot of stuff.
Including a moped.
I do not want to picture Steve on a moped.
Oh, I do.
That moped is working real hard.
Yeah, that's not fair to it. I don't do that to Italian engineering. All right, well, the final category I wanted to ask about is trick-or-treating. Whether you're out doing it or you're at home passing out candy, what's your go-to beer to kind of just keep you in the, I don't know, maybe keep you in the zone or keep you jolly for the holidays?
So I love beer, and I am a candy passer outer because I live in Carrick, and I have five stairs, and then there's like these grown women that are so drunk they can't get up the 5 stairs. They're like, trick or treat. I'm like, you got to come up and get it, girl.
Gotta earn it.
We don't throw candy around here.
No. But as much as I love beer on trick or treat night, I always do apple cider bourbons.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mike, what are you doing?
Kids in the neighborhood love me. I'm still purging.
Jesus, Mike's beer bar, y'all. Where purging is acceptable.
That's when the whole neighborhood gets to purge. All the dads and the moms come over.
Yeah.
Well, at that point, the moms are purging the dads. They're just getting rid of them. So with me, it would honestly be Allegheny City's First Street Stout. It's a 9.5 that's very chewy and fudgy and drinks like it's a 5%er. It will get you through all those obnoxious kids. I'm just saying, if you have to have your kid like wearing one of those backpacks with a leash, it's comedy for all of us.
Everybody wins.
Adam, what are you drinking as you hand out candy?
For me, I think, because admittedly, I'll say it, I'm addicted to the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So I got to have something that complements that. So the good people of...
As you do the one for me, one for you at the door.
Oh, no, they're not getting any.
Oh, okay.
It's all for me. It's all for me. It'll be the Sweet Baby Jesus. And what's going to happen is the first kid that shows up, he's getting all the candy in the bowl. I'm shutting off the lights. And I don't want to deal with them anymore.
Ooh, have you tried the Spring House Big Gruesome?
Yeah.
Oh, I've not had that one.
You should.
You should. If you like Sweet Baby Jesus, Spring House Big Gruesome will blow your mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
All right, I'm in.
That, and I'm not like a Hefeweizen drinker, but the Rusty Rail Fool's Gold is
Yes,
like
that is fantastic.
fire.
Yeah.
So, funny story about that. When it first came out,
8%
I surprised
too. Yeah.
my wife with 2 cases of it, and at the same time, she surprised me with 2 cases of it.
No way.
So, it's safe to say we still have a solid case sitting at the house. We just can't drink that much.
It's so good though.
Nice.
But at 8%, it goes down like boom, and everyone's like peanut butter Hefeweizen. I'm like, just try it.
Yeah.
But
Get it, girl.
yeah, the Big Gruesome though, it's a 8% peanut butter stout.
I'm in.
Y'all need to try
I'll give
that
you
if
a
you
can
haven't.
before you go. You got to try
Sold.
it. It's so good.
All right.
Awesome. Well, I think those are some pretty good pairings. Things to consider. I'm personally a big fan of the Dragon's Milk Maple and a shot of bourbon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Especially Bullet.
Damn.
I love Bullet, so.
You are a Bullet fan.
Ew.
So
My
good,
man.
man. So
For the
good.
price point, man, you can't go wrong with Bullet.
No, not for the price point. Yeah, like
Oh, it does its job.
Best. Yeah.
if I could go Woodford Reserve, I would go Woodford Reserve. I
Right.
like that as well, but
If it was gifted to you,
yeah.
you go Woodford.
oh yeah,
Don't be
What about
bougie.
Basil Hayden?
yeah.
Do you do any Basil Hayden?
No,
No, you don't like it?
no, I just haven't had it. I don't know what you're talking about.
You got a birthday
Only
coming
had
up.
it as a gift.
All right. Well, I got one last question for everybody around the table, and this question isn't a pairing, but it's sort of a pairing. It's what beer mascot would you dress up as for Halloween?
Keith Stone.
She would just dress up as a Keystone.
All right.
No, Keith Stowe.
Oh, Keith Stone.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's different.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's totally a beer mascot.
Now, Dennis, just to make sure that is not her name.
It's
Nope,
It is.
nope, nope.
It is not.
I have it written down. It's Cassie Keystone.
Dennis, do you have a...
Honestly, when I was in high school way back when,
Yeah.
it was a Viking.
Yeah.
Right? So I think I'd bring that back.
Okay.
Because Vikings know how to get down.
Okay.
All right.
What beer does that represent?
Here's the thing. I didn't realize like all the rules. But so any beer that is a mixture or representation of mead.
I'm pretty sure it might be the Habituale by
Dragon's
Sauce.
Milk? Or
Draken.
Haunted House Win.
Trocken.
I don't know what word you're
she's saying a mead. The mead that she said.
yes, that one.
Yeah, the Trocken. Yeah.
No, I do. I just didn't understand.
I was also going to give you, I think maybe the Habituale by Saucy is
Look,
also a Viking.
I thought this was a team effort. I would throw something out there, and everyone would help me.
Dennis, here's the thing. I could have made this really easy for you, too. Watch this one. Watch this one. The Great Divide Yeti. Which
You mean what I'm drinking right
now?
What you're drinking right now.
Here's the thing.
And you and I, being that we're both, 6'5" plus.
That's true.
We both could go as different versions of the Yeti. I could go as Yeti Classic. You could go as chocolate covered cherry. We could have.
Chocolate covered cherry.
No, you didn't think about it.
So
though.
here's the thing, Steve. Where were you 5 minutes ago?
Letting you twist in the wind.
I don't twist. I'm not that flexible.
Mike, do you have a beer mascot that you'd love to dress up as?
Well, I don't know if it's their mascot. I was just asking Cassie. I guess it's a griffin, but I like Insurrection beers.
There
yes.
you go.
Okay.
And so I thought that might be good.
Hell
if
yeah.
I really wanted to go old school, it wouldn't be so much a mascot, but anybody remember Marv Throneberry?
Ooh, no.
The speaker in the Miller Lite commercial who used to say, I'm still not quite sure why they asked me to do this commercial. No? Back when they all had sports,
I think
sports guys?
No.
Yeah, see, now I've dated myself. That's why I'm twice the age of everybody else at the table. Yeah. I just
Frank
looked
for some
around the
help.
table. But I'll stick with the Griffin.
Okay.
Right on.
Adam.
So this is
Mr. Bo.
What's that?
Mr. Bo.
Mr. Bo. No, I'm not going as Mr. Bo. I am. I'm actually going to dress up as a sexy helicopter.
Okay.
I'm going to dress up as a helicopter in a bikini, and I'm going to be a Chinooki.
I see what he did there. I was a little worried at first.
Don't worry. There
I was
were
like, dressed up as a helicopter. I'm about to watch you crash and
He had a
burn
thought.
right now.
there was reasoning behind it.
Not only did he have a thought, but he also had a pun to reach it.
Yes,
So, yeah.
yes.
He
You
nailed
got to have
it.
at least
He
one
nailed
pun.
He had to double down on that. All right. Well, doubling down on a good beer, this North Country Ugg Life.
I'm about it.
I'd double down on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really good stout. Mm-hmm. And it's a pumpkin beer I haven't had before, so I'm enjoying that.
The other thing is it's something that I want to have again.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. So big ups on that. I think that means we can go to the podium.
Yes.
And that means it's time that we put the beers bronze, silver, and gold. I'll start.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's probably going to be no surprise to anybody, but it's the 4 Points Marzen. It's a really good beer, really drinkable, really crushable. It's nice and crisp, and but I just don't love lagers that much. It's a good beer, and I would choose it over other lagers that we've had in the past, and I'd especially choose it over Yingling. But for me, that's got to go bronze.
Okay.
Silver, I'm going to give to the 11th Hour Bright Noise. Thought it was really drinkable, and it's really flavorful. Like, it's not like other hazies that are kind of soft and unremarkable. It has an interesting evolution within the taste because it does the tropical up front. You get a little bit of hop bitterness, and then it kind of finishes like pineapple juice, and that's fine, and that's good because it actually has that evolution. But I'm a stout fan first. So gold goes to the North Country Ugg Life because it has coffee, it has all that stuff in it, and it has that interesting pumpkin flavor. Like, it's not completely dominated by the coffee. There's a lot of coffee in it, but in a way it kind of reminds me of the Elysian Pumpkino. kinda, but
Right.
I think the coffee's a little stronger on the Ugg Life. But yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed all beers that we had tonight, and those are my rankings for the evening.
Right on.
Adam?
Well, I'm going to be different because that's the kind of person I am. I am actually going to put the 11th hour in the bronze medal position. And like Steve said, all of these are good beers, especially within their respective categories. And that's something that's kind of difficult with these episodes where you're not only comparing the beers, but you're also comparing styles as well. And those styles are definitely going to be, your personal preference is definitely going to affect that. And for me, that's kind of coming into play here, where the hazy IPA is it's good for what it for the style. It is good. It is good. However, I am not that type. I am not the person that likes that style too much. So unfortunately, it takes the bronze medal position. In the silver medal position, I am going to go with the Marzen from 4 Points. I like that beer. I thought it was a good drinker, especially this time of year. We had mentioned earlier that it's kind of a transition beer, where you're going from your light, fun time summer beers to the dark sadness of stouts and stout weather. This is a good transition beer. I like it. I thought it was really good. I'm going to find it again, and I'm going to drink it again. Unfortunately, for 4 Points, the good people of North Country brought this Ugg Life. That's a really good beer. I really like that beer. There's a lot of good flavors going on. There's a lot going on, but in a good way. I've had beers where they kind of stuff flavors in there and kind of hope for the best, and it doesn't work out. This is not that beer. This is a good beer. All the flavors work well together. Yeah, I'm going to get it again. I don't care. I'm going to get it again. Gold medal. Bottom line.
All right, Dennis.
Alrighty, so coming up in the bronze position, it was actually pretty tough. So with bronze, I'm going to give it to 11th Hour, that juicy, hazy, tasty IPA. It was super good, crushable any time of the day. But going up against the silver position with the 4 Points Marzen, I'm a big proponent of German styles, the caramel undertones. It was so tasty. I really enjoyed it. But just like Adam just got done saying, the North Country swinging in at gold status, that Ugg Life. I'm a big fan of coffee. I just we recently partnered up with a coffee subscription box company, so I love different styles of coffee. I love stouts. Ugg Life from a marketing standpoint really got me, and one of my good friends, Meg, is one of the production managers down there, North Country Brewing from Rock Bottom Brewery, transferred over, knocking it out of the park. It was so tasty. I can drink that all day, every day, and I would now implement that into my stout shower beer status.
Yeah.
So, Meg, thank you for allowing me to shower responsibly.
It's also a good pumpkin beer to integrate. And if you're, tired of pumpkin and other things like that, because like I said, it's one I haven't had before. All right, Cassie or Mike, which would like to go first in ranking your beers of the evening?
I'm not allowed to rank beers. I work here. Everything is delicious.
You don't like ranking your own children?
They're not even hers. She didn't brew any of them.
She loves them all, but she does
sorry.
have favorites for sure. She does.
Stepchildren?
Well, look, I am the epitome of the everyman who comes in and is asking for a suggestion because I have particular styles. I don't go into a lot of depth. I just know what I like. And so the way I'm thinking about the ranking is we've had 3 different styles. Would one of them, because they were all really good within their own style, would any one of them push me above a particular style that I like more than, right? And so I looked and ranked essentially the North Country as my bronze, because although I really enjoyed it, honestly, if I rank the styles, 1, 2, and 3 would be IPAs, a good Oktoberfest, and then a stout in that. And that's where my ranking will come out, because I think each of them are really good within their style. But none would push the envelope for me to trade off another style that I like more,
okay,
right,
yeah.
if you will.
We get that.
And so I ended up with then the 4 Points, the Marzen as my silver. And I love IPAs, and this was a very drinkable, very good, solid hazy IPA from 11th Hour. So I had them. But like Cassie, we love all of our children. They're all very, very good beers, but we all have particular styles that we're drawn to as well.
Yep.
And for me, that's what created my ranking.
Right on. Well, just go on, keep it going, and give us plugs for your social media, any events that you want to plug coming up, anything else where people can find you, all the hours that you're open. Do whatever you want.
Yeah. So we're now open at 11 o'clock every day, because we have a kitchen and we serve lunch. So now you can come drink responsibly for lunch and have a great meal to go with it. Weekdays and Sundays we close at 12:30. Of course, on the weekends we close at 2. And we have bands here on Friday and Saturday night, either at 9 or 10 o'clock. Come down and see us. We're going to have 80 Pennsylvania beers in the next week, of which probably 60 or so will be from Pittsburgh. We're always rotating. We, at the end of this month, will have gone past 800 different beers just on tap this year. And again, we continue to look for different styles and new breweries and the like.
Always looking for the new come up.
To make this a treasure hunt. So if you love craft beer, that's our aim is to have you come and challenge us to provide you something you haven't had before. And if we don't have it, we'll go off and look for it. Mike'sBeerBar.com, Mike's Beer Bar on Twitter, Mike's Beer Bar on Facebook. Through that, we communicate all of our updates. If you follow us on Tapped and get notifications, we update our menu every day, so you can find out right away what's been newly tapped or what's newly been put in the cooler.
Oh, right on.
So we welcome everybody down. We've got a great staff here. It's really kind of a family atmosphere. They know their beer well, and come down and have a good time.
All right, thank you, Dennis. So you go ahead. Give us all your deets. What are you up to? What's going on with you?
So you guys can find us at First Sip Brew Box on all of our social media handles, firstsipbrewbox.com. And one of the big things that we have coming up, we're doing a Pittsburgh veteran beer collaboration with Couch Brewery and Burgers Brewing. Both are locations in Lawrenceville and Zelienople. We're putting a beer together because we're all veteran-owned businesses, and all vets deserve good beer. So we're brewing a beer. It's a American lager, 5.4%, super crispy boy. We're actually using this as a way to get it out to all VFWs, because if you've been to a VFW lately, you realize that the most craft you can get is a Yingling. We're changing the game up. Nice. All veterans, everyone deserves good beer. So firstsipbrewbox.com and follow us on at First Sip Brew Box, and you'll get all the deets on that latest collaboration that we are doing.
I will say I think the VFW in Dormont is a little hoity-toity, and they do have a Sam Adams.
So they have your first beer, Steve, that got you into...
I didn't say cherry wheat. They have probably just the Boston Lager.
So they ain't too fancy.
No.
Well, they fancy enough. We'll slide the Speed Core veteran beer in there for sure.
Nice. When's that coming out?
So it's going to be debuting the weekend of Veterans Day next month.
All right.
So that Friday, we're going to be pushing it out. You can catch it at Couch Brewery, both Burgers Brewing locations, and we're hoping to get it into at least 10 VFWs and American Legions. Sweet. And then hopefully Mike's Beer Bar as well.
Sign us up.
Time to tie it all together. There you go, Dennis. Yep. All right. Well, if you want to find us on social media, all you have to do is search Hop Nation USA, and that'll get you Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you want to find brand new episodes of the Hop Nation USA podcast every Friday, as you should, then search Hop Nation USA on your favorite podcatcher like Stitcher, Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Laughable, Player FM,
iHeartRadio,
Overcast, Mike's Cast, Purgecast,
wherever you get your podcast.
Wherever you get your podcast. If you're on any of those platforms, though, leave us a 5-star review because
we are a 6-star show, but they will only let us use 5.
And that's a bigger crime than me not having enough money to take home as many crowlers as I want tonight. So that's a big bummer.
Yes, it is.
Mike and Cassie, do you have any last words for the audience?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We really had a great time with you tonight.
Thank you for coming on. Greatly appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you for having us down. It was a good time. I thoroughly suggest anybody to come down to Mike's Beer Bar because, all the local taps they have going on here, you can find things from all over the city of Pittsburgh.
There's something here that you will like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
One final note: buy our shit. tpublic.com.
T-shirts, stickers, brand new magnets.
Yes.
Support the cause.
Yes. Brand new magnets.
Mm-hmm. Brand new T-shirt designs.
Brand new T-shirt design. Not a Halloween one, but there's new T-shirt design.
You can wear it on Halloween. We don't mind. We're not going to judge.
Do whatever you want.
But keyword Hop Nation USA. That'll get you onto our page.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. Buy it all.
All right, and we'll be
Or
back.
At least some of it.
Some of it. Buy something. But yeah, next week will be our super spooky Halloween episode, and we have a little something different planned for you. So we'll be back with episode 130. See you next Friday.